Hey, Hank. Getting Bobby outfitted for the season?
Yep.
Again?
Yep.
Oh, I'm sorry, buddy.
Hey, hello, how do you do? Shady Doorags here. Yeah, more King of the Hill. Leave your Shady needs to pay his rent jokes in their usual spots. Today we're looking at the episode Bad News Bill because it is awful, terrible, more synonyms of bad. I mean, I need to rewatch the Flood episode just to be sure, but this might be the worst, most infuriating episode in the entire series. And if I don't rant about it soon, I'm pretty confident my left pinky toe will explode. Unfortunately, reviewing this episode does mean re-exposing myself to it. You can get through this. Just keep telling yourself, angry Shady is best Shady. The episode starts at the Hill House, where Hank is excited for the mail he's getting.
Paycheck, Auto Club magazine, jury duty notice.
I know that's supposed to be a joke, and it is a pretty good one, but when I was younger, I actually did get excited for jury duty because for me, it meant I was obligated to call out of work. Plus, even though I got summoned, they never actually required me to come to court. My number was always too high up on the list. Hank's good mail time gets ruined when he sees Little League is starting because that means it's once again time to sign Bobby up for baseball, and I'm immediately confused. Why would Hank be annoyed at Bobby joining a sports team? In plenty of other episodes, he's trying to get that exact thing to happen.
Joseph just told me the baseball forms came. I can't wait to play.
And Bobby is excited to play. Again, this is a sports team. Why on earth would Hank be against this?
I just can't sit in the stands for another season of parents looking at me with such pity. That boy.
Geez, I already gotta go on a tangent. We're not even 2 minutes into the episode. So, the writers remembered that Hank can get a bit too competitive. It's not one of his main vices like it is for Peggy, but there are multiple times in the show where Hank will get so caught up in winning, he loses sight of other important things.
So what if this rose is a little too short? It's got more personality than those other ones.
But we're out to win.
And yes, it is true that Hank can get very uncomfortable at seeing Bobby fail at something he's clearly not good at, especially if the boy is letting a team down.
I can't watch.
Oh, the humanity.
However, a consistent trait of Hank's, and when I say consistent, I mean this has been here since the very first episode, is that he gets overwhelming joy at seeing Bobby participate in a sports team. And when that happens, the important thing to him is that Bobby tries his best.
My boy is on a team. Not a squad, not a club. A team. You just have to do two things. Move this leg, then move that one. And don't quit until the race is over. You can do it, Bobby.
The episode is trying to say that Hank has seen Bobby fail so many times at baseball now that he's very embarrassed and has lost patience in waiting for the boy to get good. I have a massively hard time believing that when the pilot episode showed Hank being proud of Bobby, who screwed up royally at the time, just for being in the game.
Stop looking at me, boy! Watch the ball!
Can't hear you, Dad.
Don't worry, Bobby. You played a good game.
Yes, there have been some episodes where Hank had a problem with Bobby joining certain teams and or competitions, but those happened because Hank didn't approve of the events themselves. This is Bobby wanting to play baseball. Basic Little League. Hank should be ecstatic. Later, we see the Hill shopping for Bobby's baseball gear. I have no idea why the boys are there. I mean, it is a sports store, so it's not like they wouldn't want to go.
Baseball, huh?
Go away. Bill spots a poster for a new Little League being started in South Arlen.
Never heard of it. I don't know anyone who plays there. A clean slate.
Hank, that doesn't exactly solve your problem. You might get the first couple of games without feeling much shame, but Bobby's still gonna be bad at baseball and the other adults are still gonna feel sorry for you. I guess maybe Hank figures that the other adults won't know that Bobby's been doing this for years at this point. So Bobby does join the new league, and it seems Hank's plan worked. He is indeed among strangers.
I feel like a serial killer who relocated to Mexico.
That's a weird thing for Hank to say. I mean, it's a weird thing for anyone to say, but especially Hank.
Skills Day. These kids are being scrutinized and analyzed like a herd of cattle at auction.
Again, why are the boys here? To support Bobby? Hank was trying to avoid people he knows, and they are very much aware of that. I guess these guys will look for any reason to be near a sport. As Bobby starts to play for Skills Day, a man named Bradford approaches Hank and introduces himself as Bobby's new coach. Hank tries to warn Coach Bradford that Bobby might cost him some wins, but Bradford says that's not what he's focusing on.
I'm about support and opportunity. I don't make wins, I make winners.
Not a bad philosophy, actually. That is, of course, assuming the game you're playing isn't competitive. I have no idea if Little League is in real life, but this episode treats it like it is, so I'm gonna assume that to be true. Bradford claims that while he's not focused on winning, a consequence of his coaching will be that Bobby will leave a good ball player.
Well, I appreciate the effort, but I know Bobby, and that's not really realistic.
Not with that attitude. Hank, adults can change who they are, and Bobby's still a developing kid. He's got plenty of opportunity to become a different person. Like he could, I don't know, change his mind about being a prop comic and go into the restaurant business instead. Bradford says that not only his team, but the entire league he's a part of is all about having the community make better children. When Bill hears the organization is open to volunteers, he jumps at the opportunity. Okay, I guess that's why the boys are here, so Bill can be a part of the episode. Sometime later, Bobby's first practice begins and he's up to bat.
This is a pitch and go drill. He pitches, you swing, and go. Hit, no hit, you go.
Is this a real drill? I know nothing about baseball and I did a quick Google search. The only thing I could find on pitch and go was an AI explaining the tactic of the pitcher being ready to participate on the field immediately after their throw. Bobby follows suit and Bradford's tactics seem to sink into him.
You are a winner. I am proud of you.
You're making me proud of me, too.
Alright, I guess this is a good time to talk about the cultural topic this episode is attempting to address: participation trophies. It is well known that a hurdle for many people to accomplish something is their belief on whether or not they can, because everyone tends to act on their beliefs. When someone thinks they're not capable of accomplishing something, whether or not that belief is true, they won't even try, thus failing before they begin. Or maybe they will try, but they'll put in very little effort, causing failure to become a self-fulfilling prophecy. A widespread attempted solution to this problem for millennial kids was the participation trophy, which, as the name implies, was a trophy you would receive simply for participating. The mentality, however, didn't just stop at trophies. Many millennial kids were rewarded simply for the act of engaging with activities, whether they succeeded in them or not. The idea was that if kids were encouraged and congratulated for simply trying things, they would be less likely to give up on their aspirations. No one knows whether or not they'll succeed at something, but everyone knows they're capable of trying it, and like I said, people act on how they believe. Many, however, question the participation trophy tactic, as there seem to be some obvious problems that would arise from people believing that trying means success. The problem in particular that this episode wants to tackle is how the mentality could create unrealistic expectations. In the real world, one is not always rewarded simply for putting in effort. Anyway, back to the episode.
About your outfit, Bill? No.
Why not? It's a baseball outfit. Why would Hank be against that?
Hey, Bobby, how was practice?
Brutal. I hurt in places you're always talking about.
Good for you, Bobby. Hank, your boy just got home from practicing for a sports team, and his body has been pushed to exhaustion. I can only imagine how proud you must feel.
Does that mean you want to quit? Because you can. You can quit baseball forever.
Sigh.
Previously on Avatar.
Bobby, I don't think you should quit.
But you said this pop culture stuff was stupid.
Well, it is, but you made a commitment to your team and you should honor it.
Some time passes, and Bobby's team has their first game.
Hello, Hills. Good to see you here.
Ah, crap, Bill's doing his I'm in charge voice, a telltale sign of annoying things to come.
Why don't you just go to the snack stand, reach into the till, and help yourself to the money we rely on to keep this great program afloat.
The game gets to the point where the next batter makes or breaks it, and Hank gets distraught when Bradford decides to put Bobby in.
He hadn't played all day, and now the coach is putting him in with 2 outs?
Kinda weird Bobby hasn't played yet, considering Bradford's philosophy. Maybe it's been a quick game.
Woo! Oh yeah, Bobby, show him what you got!
I love Peggy.
No, Bobby, don't!
I don't love the guy claiming to be Hank. This is the Hank I remember.
Swing, Bobby, swing! Swing!
Bobby, by pure luck, does manage to get a hit, winning the game for his team. This prompts Hank to congratulate the coach on his victory.
This is what happens when you support a child.
Huh?
See, I haven't given up on Bobby the way you have.
I mean, what else can I say, but...
He's out of line, but he's right.
As much as Bradford just ticked me off with that comment, Hank did give up on Bobby. Oh, by the way, it's not just the coach that views Hank this way. All the other parents also get upset, which makes sense considering it was explained earlier that the entire league is committed to Bradford's mentality. These parents likely knew their kids were signing up for a non-competitive environment. It's ironic because the reason Hank came to this particular league was to not be judged by other parents. Later that night, Peggy and Hank discuss the coach's accusations. Hank admits that yes, he did give up on Bobby, but now he's going to turn things around. Be thankful that Bobby's still a kid, Hank, because he's too young to know that it's kind of a meaningless gesture when you start supporting someone after they've succeeded. The next practice, Hank decides to volunteer, ensuring Bobby that he's going to be there for him from now on.
So you want me to shag some balls or chalk the field or lead a pepper drill? Where do you want me?
As far from the field as possible?
Nani?
You come from a position of negativity.
Okay, again.
He's out of line, but he's right.
Bradford once again has a legit point. Hank only just now started believing in Bobby because A, he saw the boy succeed, and B, he was pressured into it. That being said, this guy's attitude is really starting to irk me. Hank is at least making an effort here, and according to Bradford, that's what's important. Even if Hank's not ready to actually be on the field, Bradford could have easily given him another task without the animosity. Hank is told he's to report to Bill in hopes that he'll learn what it means to have a positive attitude. Hank goes to Bill demanding he be allowed to help his son with practice, but Bill's in a position of power now, and you know exactly where this is going.
All I want to do is just watch my son play baseball.
No, Hank. If that was your motivation, you wouldn't need to help with the practices. You could just come to the games. Your goal is to be there for Bobby and actively support him.
Really? Last I heard, you wanted to see him quit baseball. I'll give it to you straight, Hank. You're seen as a negative influence around here.
Stephen Root, if you're trying to make me livid to the point that I can't see straight anymore, you are doing a phenomenal job at it with that voice of yours. However, I again find myself saying,
He's out of line, but he's right.
Hank's negative attitude is indeed a concern for what the league is trying to accomplish. However, I start to disagree with Bill when he says this.
Before anyone lets you on the baseball field, you're going to have to prove yourself. Show your commitment to the league.
No, Hank is not committed to the league, nor should he be. He should be committed to his son. If Bill had said Hank needed to show commitment to the league's goals, that would be a different matter. As is, all I see from Bill here is someone who is power tripping and wants free labor. So Hank ends up working the snack stand at the next game.
Large suicide, extra diet.
You can't put diet in a suicide, it'll ruin it.
A warning to anyone who is going into the service industry. Unless you are paid by commission, it is not your job to tell the customer what they want. I know it's tempting, but trust me, things go so much more smoothly if you just ring up what they order and give it to them. When I was a cashier, I learned that the hard way.
Hey, isn't that the guy who gave up on his kid?
Yeah, I wish he'd give up on the snack stand, too.
Getting serious Miss Wakefield vibes here. Hank forces himself to put up with the snack stand, including Dale annoying him and Bill berating him. Unfortunately, the job itself is preventing Hank from seeing Bobby's game. Again, Hank, if that's your goal, you don't need to volunteer. Later at another practice,
Woo! A personal best by .02 seconds. That is how you do it.
a PB's a PB, and it's worth celebrating. Good job, Bobby. Bradford continues to encourage Bobby, telling him that it's possible the boy could go pro. This has an impact on Bobby as he begins to act how he now believes.
Coach said that one day, if I work really hard, I could be a major leaguer.
What?
Oh boy, is this too somehow now a bad thing, Hank?
Look, I'm glad you're having fun, but
Wait, are you saying you don't believe I can do it?
I don't want you to be disappointed when it definitely doesn't happen.
Okay, I wasn't expecting that. Give me a second. Okay. So what Hank just said opens up a whole can of worms. Personally, I do believe that anyone can accomplish anything that is humanly possible. And I'm even open to the idea of people accomplishing a good amount of things that aren't humanly possible. However, I also believe that everyone is not suited to do everything. Can Bobby become a Major League Baseball player? Sure, but he doesn't have the natural raw talent that other people start with to accomplish such a thing, meaning Bobby would have to work extra hard to get to the same position as them. Not only that, but the boy is lacking the mental fortitude to even begin getting to that level. He hates physical labor, and whenever he starts to get tired or stressed, he gives up and looks for something more relaxing to do. Sure, with a lot of hard work, Bobby could go pro, but that doesn't sound like the type of life Bobby would want to lead.
But I've set my mind to it, and that means with enough hard work and dedication, it'll happen. Right?
No, Bobby. See, this was one of the supposed problems with participation trophies. Because all you have to do is try, they can give the illusion that failure isn't possible. A sad truth about life is you can do all the correct things and still fail. In fact, that's a lesson that both Hank and Cotton had to learn.
I'm sorry, Dad. I guess I just...
Dang it, Hank, don't apologize. You did everything right. Sometimes you can do everything right and still lose.
Hank doesn't actually believe Bobby is suited for the major leagues, but he said he wouldn't give up on his son, so he encourages the boy to go for it. Later, at another practice,
You know, Hank, staring out the window sure isn't proving your commitment to the organization.
I don't know if I've ever wanted a character to hurt someone else as much as I want Hank to hurt Bill. Also, and I know I'm repeating myself, Hank should be dedicated to Bobby, not the league.
I need to talk to you about Coach Bradford. He's raising Bobby's expectations.
Is a little bit of positivity a bad thing?
Well, sometimes, yes. This isn't gonna end well.
Ugh, I hate when King of the Hill does this. This is just like when Bobby was a fat model or when he was trying to start his own cleaning business. Hank believes Bobby specifically cannot be successful when he does certain things, and the episode can't properly explain why, so it just has Hank saying things will somehow inevitably fail without showing any proof. The show is trying to sugarcoat it, but it really is true that Hank just doesn't believe in Bobby sometimes. Bill has a meeting, so he leaves Hank in charge of answering his calls. The next call the office gets is Bradford asking for help on the field. Hank volunteers himself and lies about Bill giving him permission to go out there.
We're, short a few boys. Mind standing in a catcher?
I played some catcher,
Yeah.
Okay, mister, I am just about done with you. You want to know the problem with your little nurture philosophy? You only apply it to children. This is a man who is trying to change for the better, yet you won't give him the benefit of the doubt. You have no problem believing a fat kid can eventually join a Major League Baseball team, but you clearly don't believe in a dad who is actively trying to change his ways for his kid. So now Hank gets to not only watch Bobby play, but also be on the field with him. Unfortunately, given this is a sport, Hank gets a little too excited and as the catcher, he tags a kid too hard. This causes Hank to be summoned to a hearing by the league.
I understand you're Hank Hill.
Yes.
Speak into the microphone, please.
Hey, King of the Hill writers, you know how you sometimes like to have certain characters act awfully and then never have them face consequences?
That's not funny! It's never been funny! It's never gonna be funny!
Hank tries to make excuses for his actions since what happened was an accident and the kid wasn't seriously hurt. However, given that Hank not only injured a child but did so by lying, the league bans him from all of their facilities. You know, Peggy's in this episode, but not nearly enough. I would have loved to have seen her defend Hank at some point. Later in the alley,
Talking about old down old Hank, man. Bill done you up to all kinds of wrong, man.
thank you, Boomhauer. It's not a punishment, but at least the episode freaking acknowledges that Bill is being a jerk.
You think I'm unfair, Hank? Just be glad I'm allowing you contact with Bobby at all.
What did you say to him, you fat, childless, wifeless? Sorry. I used a bunch of very mean and, quite frankly, hypocritical insults. Hey, do you guys remember what happens when someone threatens to take Hank's child away?
Okay, that does it. I have had it with you.
I'm not a might makes right person, but I'll make an exception this time for Bill. Bill leaves and, knowing Hank is unable to watch, brags about how Bobby will be starting in the next game. This, however, is what prompts Hank to go anyway. So with Hank watching from a hidden location, Bobby does indeed start and is confident that he's going to do well. However, he winds up failing. Over and over and over again. The other team notice this and start to take advantage of Bobby since he's a weak player. I mean, this does kind of suck, but it's not like there's any real pressure to succeed here. As demonstrated multiple times, everyone here understands that this particular league isn't about the competition. It's about building the self-esteem of the kids.
That kid and right is a mess out there.
Come on, coach! Pull Bobby!
Wait just a doggone minute! Literally all of you were giving Hank grief because he quote-unquote gave up on his kid. All of you were guilting Hank because you wanted him to back Bobby up no matter what. So So where in the wonderful Wizard of Oz did this come from? Why does this episode have the parents on multiple occasions back up Coach Bradford if they all actually care about winning? Is this league competitive or not? Bobby starts to feel immense embarrassment from failing so much and begs Bradford to take him out. However, this is an episode about participation trophies, which means Bradford must keep encouraging Bobby to participate no matter what.
I'm not giving up on you, Bobino! Now get out there and give it everything you have!
With no help from the coach, Hank feels he has no choice but to yoink Bobby out of the game when no one's looking.
He went invisible. Nope, he got taken out. Well, the coach didn't know what was good for Bobby, but his father did.
No. The only reason that situation became bad for Bobby is because everyone here who was encouraging an event to be non-competitive suddenly decided that it was competitive. Bradford, whom I detest by the way, is the only person who remained consistent. Hank would not have been right if the episode didn't suddenly decide that he was. Also, Hank once again allows Bobby to quit a commitment he made. That's not only massively out of character for Hank, but it's also just not a good lesson to teach. So, the episode ends with Hank and Bobby driving away, and Hank teaches a surprisingly decent lesson.
I guess that means I was never any good, was I?
You know, there's lots of stuff you are good at. You should be very proud of your comedy.
Yes, it is okay to acknowledge that you're bad at something and or that activity just isn't for you. And if that happens, it doesn't mean you're bad at everything. You can either try to get better at the things you are bad at or focus on mastering the things you're already good at.
Maybe you'll fly someday, or maybe you won't. You're all kinds of awesome anyway.
And that was Bad News Bill. Good golly, do I hate this episode. I mean, where do I even begin? Hank is completely out of character just to get the plot going. All the adults, whether they're right or wrong, are just awful people. Bill in particular makes me want to commit acts of terrorism. And the episode just randomly switches things up at the last minute to force its message to be true. I get the want to warn people about the potential negative consequences of participation trophies, but don't do it like this. I mean, I don't know what more y'all want me to say. The episode is just so bad. News Bill. This has been Shady Doorags. So long. Farewell. Auf Wiedersehen. Goodbye.